Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Tanya Live. Hope everyone's having an amazing day. And we'll get started as soon as I find my Tanya. Okay, good morning. Good morning, good morning. Okay. So today is, of course, a special day. It's Tuesday. It's time for Tanya. And I think I'd like to start off with asking everyone to put down anyone's name that needs to have a refuah shalema. And as well, we are going to say special tehillim for the hostages. It's been almost 6 months. And we have to cry out to Hashem. This is not okay. This is so not okay. So we're going to do chapter Kuf Chaf Aleph. Please put down any names that need refuah shlema. Good morning, Lori. Hi, Becky. Good morning, Lynn. Good morning, Sophie. Boker Tov. Good to see you all. Good morning, Shirley. Yes, so we're going to start off. Please put down any names that need a refuah shlema, but then please, with the most incredible amount of kavanah. First, of course, we're going to give tzedakah. Tzedakah should be kareres ha'geula. Good morning, Helga. Good morning, Dorit. Rachel Bas Vivian. Chaim Ben Aviva. Of course, Lori, we should hear B'suras Tovos. Okay. Isabel Bas Sarah. Okay, we'll have her in mind, of course. And of course, we'll start off now. Kuf Chaf Aleph, which is chapter 121. Shir Lamalos. Esa inaya laharim miyan yavo Ezri. Ezri me'im Adonai oser shamayim va'aretz. Al yitein lamot lagrecha. Al yonum shamrecha. Hine lo yonum v'lo yishan shermi Yisrael. Adonai shamrecha Adonai tzilcha ad yad yiminecha. Yomam harshemesh lo yakeka v'erech balayla. Adonai yishmorcha mikol ra. Yishmor es nafshecha. Adonai yishmor tzeischa v'yecha me'at olam. I'm going to actually read this in English. A song of ascent. I lift my eyes to the mountains. From where will my help come? Where are we going to get our help? Is it United States? Is it United Nations? Is it good politics? No. My help will come from the Lord, maker of heaven and earth. He will not let your foot falter. Your guardian does not slumber. Indeed, the guardian of Israel neither slumbers nor sleeps. The Lord is your guardian. The Lord is your protective shade at your right hand. The sun will not harm you by day, nor the moon by night. The Lord will guard you from all evil. He will guard your soul. The Lord will guard your going and your coming from now on for all time. We beg Hashem, please listen to how many millions of people are davening every single day. Besides for all the tzedakah, besides for all the soldiers who are giving their lives, 600 beautiful, beautiful young men and women since October 7th. This is horrible tragedy. Horrible, horrible tragedy. We have hostages still being tortured in the tunnels in Gaza. And we have despicable people marching in Toronto. Thank God the police are starting to finally arrest them. Thank you, thank you. Only B'suras Tovos. Good morning, Clara. Good morning, Lynn. Good morning, Barbara. B'suras Tovos for Esther Bas Rivka. Good morning, Lauren. And good morning, Lena. Okay, good. So we're all here together. We can get started. So the question I posed on our class today is, does anyone here know the name of Anar Shapiro? If you did, give me a thumbs up if you've heard his name. Okay, Anar Shapiro. If that name rings a bell, and it should, give me a thumbs up. Anar Shapiro. Okay, so I don't think anybody's heard this guy's name. Let me know if you know this guy, Anar Shapiro. He's a hero from Israel. Good morning, Arlene. A hero from Israel, but I want you to tell me if you've heard his name. This is someone that we must keep his name constant. Good morning, Esther. We have Esther Bastavora, Leah Bastavora. Good morning, Esther, and good morning, Helga. Anar Shapiro is a hero. And let me tell you the story. Because in Tanya today, we're going to talk about a very important concept. I'm going to say it in Hebrew. Let me know if you know what it means. It's called Hamaise Hu Ha'ikar. It's a concept, a Jewish concept. But Tanya today and yesterday, actually Sunday and yesterday, expound on that very beautiful Jewish concept. Have you ever heard that before? Hamaise Hu Ha'ikar or Hamaise Hu Ha'ikar? Hi, Chana, good morning. So, we know that there are two, so Becky says the doing is the important part. We know that in every mitzvah, there are two components, right? There's the action and there's the kavanah. What's kavanah? Okay, so I'm going to be asking a lot of questions today. I need it to be interactive. Okay? Just need it to be interactive class. Hi, good morning, Barb. Good morning, Chana. Hamaise Hu Ha'ikar is focusing on one of the components of a mitzvah. The Eva is right. Kavanah is intention. Maise is the deed. So now I'm going to throw out a question to you. When it comes to mitzvot, which one is more important? The maise, the deed, or the intention? Okay, so as I said before, the maaseh hu ha'ikar, that the action is most important, obviously, right? In other words, if I'm thinking about eating matzah in my mind, and I'm thinking about it, and I'm imagining it, and I'm actually tasting it, I'm salivating for it, but then I don't eat matzah at the Seder, did I do the mitzvah? Of course not. If I plan on giving tzedakah, but when it comes to actually getting online and taking out my credit card and giving tzedakah, but I have great intention, so if I didn't give it tzedakah, is it counted? Anything? Even a little bit? I'm going to throw you off a little bit. The intention is great, but what if I daven in the morning, and I'm davening, but I have zero kavanah? I have zero intention. I'm just bumbling the words. Is that considered a good prayer? So clearly it's not so cutthroat. It's not so black and white. You see, the deed is important, but the kavanah is the passion that comes with the deed. We can't just do it. We need to have intention. Because this, according to the Talmud, is critical in our Jewish theology. The perspective that Judaism gives in the mitzvah is that you also have to have intention. So sitting in shul and thinking about the prayers, I know a lot of women sit in shul with the siddur open, but they don't actually say the words. You tell me, is that prayer going anywhere? Because we know that tefillah beli kavanah hi kiguf beli neshama. That prayer without kavanah is like a body without a soul. So that seems to be contradicting what I'm saying. If you have to have intention on the prayer, is the prayer worth anything if you just have intention? Anybody? Give me your feedback. Good morning, Arlene. Good morning, Haley. So, Arlene, you say you could do prayer in your mind? Dorit, do you say you could do prayer in your mind? Just having kavanah without saying the words? So I'm going to throw a bombshell here for a lot of you. Are you ready? You have to say the words. When you're davening in the morning, the brachot, intention doesn't cut it. For prayer and for mitzvot, it's the action that counts. In fact, if you've done an entire prayer, even in English, yes, Chana, even in English, 100%, better to say it in English than not to say the words at all. Sitting in synagogue or sitting at home and just having the vibes of the words doesn't do it. You have to say the words. And even if you've said the entire prayer without any intention, you're thinking about the homework you have to get done, the stocks you're going to buy, the cleaning you have to do. The prayer is still considered as if it's done. But there are two caveats. Are you ready for this, my friends? Okay. Arlene, you could read quietly, but you can't read without mouthing the words. I know a lot of people don't know that. And that's why I decided to focus on this today. We need to say the words. We need to actually use the words, the tangible parts of our mouth that were created for this purpose. Your teeth, your lips, your vocal cords, your tongue, and your throat. There are 5 components to the prayer. If you think about it, why did God create all of our physical parts of our body? Each one should be elevated to prayer. So when we say the words, Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad, we've now elevated 5 parts of our mouth. Our lips, our teeth, our vocal cords, our throat, and our tongue. Because every sound uses one of these parts of our mouth. If God forbid you don't have a tongue, if you don't have teeth, there are a lot of words you can say. So God created these 5 parts of our mouth. So we elevate each one, and thereby creating a world that is filled with godliness, where you're elevating, making a dira b'tachtonim. So if you just think of the prayer, you're just using thought. You're not using. Our mouth we use for food. Our mouth we use for gossip. Our mouth we use for some silly stuff. Let's elevate this part of our body, and let's elevate it and make it holy by using the words. And even if the prayer takes longer, say less, but say the prayers. That's one thing. The second part is that there are 2 prayers you must have kavanah. And even if you didn't, you have to go back and repeat them. If you think you know which 2 prayers that is, please put it down in the comments. But there are 2 prayers that verbalizing it is not enough. You have to have intent. The first prayer is Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. You have to focus on those words. Hear, O Israel, the Lord is our God, the Lord is one. So you have to think of those words, connecting yourself to Hashem. The second one is, the second prayer that you have to repeat is the first verse of the Shemona Esrei, the Amidah. And I am guilty of this. I'm in shul. I'm about to say the Amidah. My mind already has gone somewhere else. This morning, I actually had to repeat those words. It was embarrassing for myself. Because here I am going to be giving a class on it. And when I got to the Amidah, my mind wandered. So I went back and repeated it again. So that's one of the reasons, Dorit, is that we learn. Because a lot of us know things and we pick up things, but then there's so many important focuses of our halacha of our Torah that we don't know, because of course we don't know. Who over here thinks we know everything? We know this much compared to what the Torah is. If you look at a Jewish library, I'll just show you around. This is the Shul library, but it's just one part of it. And there's all right? In my house, we have about 14 bookcases. 14 bookcases of Jewish books. When the Rebbe started the mitzvah of the campaign of Bayis Mali Sfarim, he begged everyone to fill up their homes with Jewish books. And that's what we have to do. So, the prayer of Shema and the prayer of Amidah must be repeated. Even though the deed is what's important, and we said the words, but those psukim, we actually have to have kavanah. But this is another one that I don't know a lot of you know. I personally, the Amidah prayer is in a siddur, and Dorit, if you have it follows right after the Shema prayers. Okay? So that's where you'll find Amidah. It's the silent prayer. It's called Amidah, silent prayer, Shemona Esrei, a lot of different terminologies for that prayer. But that's the prayer that we stand with. We go back 3 steps, we go up 3 steps, and we stand together. We're not allowed to look up, we're not allowed to look around. You have to focus. If someone's praying Amidah in your shul, you're actually not allowed to ask them to move for you to get through. You have to go another way. Amidah is it's the climax of our prayers, the Amidah. But there's another prayer that you have to have intent. And actually this one, I don't struggle with. Yes, the first verse is good. Yes, Arlene. This prayer is the prayer after the meal. It's called Birchat HaMazon. How many of you have heard of Birchat HaMazon? Okay, because many of us know that there's a prayer before we eat our foods, right? Like Baruch Atah Hashem Elokei Machalam Shakol Niyeh B'Dvaro, or Hamoti Lechem Min Haaretz, or Borei Mini Mizonot, right? Those are the mitzvahs that we do on our food. But then after we have bread, we have to do the whole Birchat HaMazon. And it's the tune that most of us know, right, from camp. Baruch Atah Hashem Elokeinu Melech HaOlam Hazanet Ha'olam. And everyone sings it, and everyone's banging on the tables. Did you know that the Birchat HaMazon is a godly commandment as opposed to blessings before we eat, which are just rabbinical commandment? And that is why the blessing, the grace after meals, when you say it, you have to have kavanah. And by the way, it is the most, yes, Chana, Birchat HaMazon is only after you had a meal with bread or challah. But the blessing of the benching after you eat is the most potent and powerful blessings you can ask Hashem to give you. When you say Birchat HaMazon and you actually read the Hebrew and English, the blessings that you are bringing onto your family, it is electrifying. Like no matter how many people I have at my table, 20, 30 people, I actually ignore everyone and I focus on the words of Birchat HaMazon. This is what's called a mitzvah de'oraita. If you've heard that, you can give me a thumbs up. Mitzvah de'oraita. That is the mitzvah from God Himself. Mitzvah d'Rabbanan are mitzvahs that the rabbis have added on throughout the years, and blessing over the food, those blessings come from the rabbis, Rabbanan. But the grace after meal, that is actually God's commandment. And we have to actually say it with great intent. Because every single time we do that, we are elevating our Nefesh HaBahamis. And you guys know what the Nefesh HaBahamis is, because we've learned this in Tanya for the last few years. Animal soul. Our body gets elevated when we use The 5 parts of our mouth, remember, we said the teeth, the lips, the tongue, the vocal cords, and the throat. Those 5 components of a person's ability to speak get elevated every time you say Birchat Hamazon, and then of course when you have machshava, you have kavana. That's why I want to talk now about this incredible soldier by the name of Anar Shapiro. Has anybody here heard of his name? Now, Anar Shapiro was in the Nachal Brigade. He was a very, very proficient and cool and smooth and dedicated soldier. The night of October 6th, him and his friend, you must have heard the name, Hirsch Gottlieb Polin. Give me your hands up if you've heard his name. His mother is traveling all over the world, speaking to people to get her son out. He is still a hostage. Almost 6 months. I can't believe we're even saying that. 6 months these beasts are keeping our young and our older men, women, and children as hostages. The horror and the terror. Can't even go there with my mind. So the night of October 6th, Anar Shapiro with his friend Hirsch went to Nova Festival. And in the morning, when they saw what was going on, because Anar was a very, very proficient and skilled soldier of the Nachal Brigade, he told a bunch of people to get into a certain home. And he said to them, go down on the floor, I am going to protect you. This man, there's actually videos you can watch because there were people on dash cams and there were actually people that were there on the floor with their phones. Anar stood at the door, and as those beasts threw grenades at the soldier with all of these people, the young people on the floor, he grabbed a grenade and threw it back. A second grenade, he grabbed it and threw it back. I guess he had the experience and the know-how because he's a soldier. 7 grenades tried to bomb these people. He grabbed them and he threw it back, bringing them to get exploded by the grenade. But alas, the 8th grenade he caught and he exploded with the grenade. He saved those young Jewish Israelis that were huddling underneath. He saved their lives, but he himself gave up his life. We talk about Mesiras Nefesh. We talk about giving up our lives for another Jew. Anar Shapiro gave his life for Jews. Sometimes I wonder, are we doing enough here in Toronto and around the world? I'm Becky, I'm not talking about you. Becky, you are living the life of Hamaisa Hua'ikar. But those of us here in Toronto, what are we doing? What are we giving up? Chana is saying his arm was blown off. Yes. What are we giving up? Are we giving up money? Are we giving up at least 20% of our earnings to tzedakah now? Because if we're not, we have to. We have to do something till it hurts. The Israelis are living a life that hurts right now. The most incredible human beings are living in Israel. So many people are trying to make Aliyah right now. My nephew, whose parents waited 13 years for him to be born, just confided in his parents 3 weeks ago that he is now joining the IDF. This is a boy that was grown up on shluchus, lived his life doing and learning, but now he wants to do Hamaisa. And Menachem Mendel Ben Sararella should have an easy transition into the IDF, and Hashem should protect him. every single minute, like every single soldier. We cannot open up our phones anymore and see any soldiers gone. Hashem, we just said Kapitel Kuf Chaf Aleph. I'm begging all of you, say Tehillim throughout your day. Once in the morning is not enough. Keep giving tzedakah. Keep giving tzedakah. Tzedakah and tefillah and davening now, as we spoke about, having your words count. Making sure that your words reach the heavens. Because Hashem is the only one in control, and we don't know why He's not responding with a very clear, we know Hashem is there, and we don't doubt it for a minute, but now we need to see the end of the skullus. We need to see Mashiach with a time of peace, a time of redemption, a time when no more mothers are burying children. When I was in Israel, the day we were leaving, they buried Daniel Perez, a beautiful, gorgeous South African boy whose family made Aliyah. No parent should be burying a child. Hashem, please, we are promising to improve our Judaism, to improve our Ben Adam L'Chevero. We're going to be nicer to people. We're going to try not to talk Lashon Hara. We're going to give more tzedakah. We're going to invite people to our homes. We're going to be Dam L'Kav Schus. Hashem will watch how we are changing as a people, because we know that Hashem is the only one that can help us win the war. We don't rely on anyone. Lo b'chayil. We don't rely on governments. We don't rely on politics. We don't rely on guns. We only rely on Hashem. And collectively, let's please say together, Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Hashem, listen to us. Listen to us. And all of you women that are moms, make sure that you do more prayers with your children and your grandchildren. Send everyone you know text to say Tehillim. Chapter Kuf Chaf Aleph is a perfect one. And may we very, very, very much merit that next Tuesday's class will be in Eretz Yisrael with the coming of Mashiach. B'mehera b'imenu. Amen.